Okay, well, this is Dave. I continue on the road to 100. I just headed down the road a couple of hours and I'm in Columbia. But Candler, the manager, isn't here. I guess I gave her too much notice. But I'm grateful that I've got Katie and Tammy. Tammy heads up CDCE. Did I
That's
say
right,
the initial what?
CDCE.
Okay. I'll tell you, it's hard keeping up with all the acronyms, or as we said in the Army, the ACRs. In any event, now y'all just had your 1 year anniversary,
Yes, it was phenomenal.
Unbelievable. It was a
and
lot
you
of
had
fun.
a strawberry tree.
Yes.
Right there on the
We had
table.
it right there, and it was a showstopper.
And nobody wanted to touch it because they were afraid to, get the strawberries off. They were like, I can't touch that. We said, eat the strawberries, please. It was neat.
Well, I'll tell you, this is one of our newer houses. It's a 16 suite at the Dorn VA Medical Center in Columbia, South Carolina. And it's just gorgeous. It looks as good as it did the day we first opened those doors. And that doesn't just happen. It's because we've got great leadership. Now, Tammy, how did you get involved in Fisher House? Because you've been there from the beginning.
From the very beginning. It was so interesting. I had the opportunity at that time, CDCE was known as voluntary service. And so we had the opportunity to go to one of the sister facilities. And they said, oh, well, come, we're going to show our Fisher House. And I came back green-eyed, like, why don't we have a Fisher House? So I approached our leadership, and that's when they said, well, we're landlocked. We don't have it. And we were able to speak to the undersecretary at that time, and he said, I'm quite sure I have enough smart people on this call to make it happen. So after that, we were able to, I put in the application and was supported, and here we are.
And how many years ago was that?
That was 8 years ago.
So it doesn't always take that long. Of course, sometimes it takes longer. And what the situation was this portion of the installation, I think, was scheduled for enhanced use lease.
Correct.
And so VA came back and said, no, we need it for what we need to do for the people we serve. Now, Katie, how did you get involved?
Just a family move. We moved back to Columbia. My husband's sort of from here, military brat, and went to middle school and high school here. And we were way out in New England. And I said, it's time to come back close to home. And I saw this job on USA Jobs. I was working with a nonprofit that trains service dogs. I didn't train the dogs, just the people. And I said that is,
Training people can be harder.
this is true. Maybe sometimes, yeah. But it kind of came to fruition about the same time, and I had had previous experience with Fisher Houses, both at Tripler and Landstuhl, just with groups I was involved with. We used to volunteer and bring, Saturday morning breakfast once a month and things like that. So I really appreciated and loved the Fisher House model, so just wanted to be a part of that.
So that was very exciting to hear that during the interview process. It was like all of the right things were being said, and it was like, here we have someone that would be absolutely fantastic. But I also wanted to go back when you talked about the 8 years. COVID was a part of that 8 years, and that really had a significant impact on us being able to move forward.
Well, and that's true. One of the things I'm proud of is we really didn't skip a beat. We kept building houses all the way through
Absolutely.
New Orleans and others. And, when you have a purpose, you just find a way to move through it. And we're grateful that, we started this as COVID was still ending and there were still
Absolutely.
restrictions in place. And it's, we always describe it as a public-private partnership. And, the folks over in the medical center, they've got an important job, and that's providing world-class health care. We can come in and we can provide a facility to take care of their families. And as someone who used to be a healthcare administrator, I've always believed so often the quality of care is simply the perception. You're still getting world-class health care, but if you're taking care of the family, that care just got a little bit better.
Absolutely.
And you know, the patients comforted by knowing that their family's someplace safe. And, you know, their only concern is Fisher House spoiling my family too much.
We've had a little of that,
We're guilty.
especially when you see the pictures.
But no, it's just a wonderful story, and we know that life happens. Now, you've had a lot of people who were just transiting from one part, you know, you're on the 95 corridor almost, not far from it. You've got the people going cruising, and sometimes people are in the midst of their vacations and they have a surprise visit because life happened.
Yeah, we've had everything from, there were a couple of ladies coming from the Baltimore, Maryland area. The one who was the veteran had a cardiac event and came here, and her friend that was with her stayed with us, I think, for 3 weeks. We had the Michigan family who was off the cruise, headed back, didn't make it back, had to stop here at Dorn and have surgery. We had a good friends from like the Jersey, Pennsylvania area were driving through to Florida to see his kids. Didn't make it. They had actually stopped at a local hotel, and he was in pretty rough shape. And so they said, well, it looks like you're a veteran. You have a cap on. There's a VA right under the interstate. Of course, they didn't know that, you know, so, you know, and the doctor did credit her with saving his life, and she said, I didn't. It was that, you know, person over at the hotel who said, go on over to the VA right now.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty incredible. So not everyone's from here or from South Carolina. Sometimes it's fun to see where everybody's from.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
Well, and then you show them this kind of hospitality and they figure out how they can move here. So that's,
so we're bringing people to South Carolina one by one.
well, and we wouldn't enjoy the reputation we do if we didn't have you helping Candler manage this house. And it's not a success if we don't have people like Tammy that are providing the support that is needed at the local level. I love how the houses become a catalyst for community support. Have you seen much of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everywhere we go, we were at a big 3-day event at the Armory down in Columbia, and all the organizations you talk to, especially the non-veteran organizations, they're like, how can we help you? What can we do? You know, I'm in this fraternity, I'm in this group. Can my church group help you? I was at the Fort Jackson Retiree Fair that they have annually, and I had a list of people coming up saying, what can we do for you? Everywhere I go, I just was on a cruise a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the Veterans Table event, and I met a woman who is from Greenville, who works at TD Bank, and she said, you're with the Fisher House. I've been trying to get in the door there and help. And I said, all right, let me shoot you an email. So I shot her an email, and once I got Wi-Fi, and she's already messaged me back about coming to help. So I mean, we have groups, all kinds of great groups in the area that want to support us. But sometimes it's just an individual who has a
Right.
heart for either veterans or their families, or just support the community.
We also have, through our CDCE voluntary service, where individuals want to donate and they will ask, how can we help veterans? And the great thing about it is that Katie and Candler will continue to keep that ongoing conversation as to the needs of what's there. So
Yeah.
there's another avenue for them to be able to actually receive donations from here.
Absolutely.
Well, and the goal is always that when somebody walks through the door of a Fisher House, they know that there are others appreciate their service, who honor that service and want to help them in their time of need. And the road continues.